thank you for your time and consideration into Chester. Today we're going to go over some of the points as to why Chester would make a great candidate for your investment. Here you see our agenda for today. And now I'm going to pass it on to our CEO.
Thank you, Negar. This is our executive team. Right now we're only missing Eunkyung Choi, our Chief Operations Officer, but she'll be joining us later in the video call. So my name is Gerard Mascarenhas. I'm the CEO. I'm joined by the rest of my executive team. On the far end we have Junlan, our Chief Marketing Officer. Then we have Negar Fathi, our Chief Financial Officer. And finally Vanessa, our Chief Technology Officer. So the first thing that I would like to discuss, which is our strength, is our team dynamics. At the beginning we were thrown together by the board of directors because we were the best in our fields. And so we were good, but we just didn't know how to communicate with each other. And so in the first few years we struggled in this field. Once we were able to begin to trust each other and our knowledge in the fields, we were able to communicate better. But first we needed to go through some failures. And from those failures we needed to learn and actively listen. And from that point on we really started snowballing into the company that we are today, which is far stronger and far more reliable.
So this allowed us to formulate our strategic position, which is a broad differentiation strategy. We're emphasizing on all product segments. So from years 1 to 4, we focused on mainly growth and trying to gain a large market share and have high sales volume. Other factors were negatively affected by this, most importantly, our financial performance. Year 5 onwards, we decided to shift our focus towards maximizing profit. We emphasized a higher contribution margin to generate this profit. What this ended up creating was a higher market share price. We were able to buy back shares, we took out less loans and paid back prior loans. We were able to increase our bond rating, we had room for a promotion and R&D budget. We were also able to have happier workers with the lower production.
Yeah, as you can see here for our financial performance, this is the cash flow statement for the past 8 years. We can see here that from year 1 to year 4, basically, the company had little to, well, in year 2 actually we had the negative profitability or net loss of $4,000. And then moving on from year 4, as we revised our strategy, we saw some recovery in the company's performance as we jumped from 1,410,000 to 14,438,000. And from then on, it just continuously grew, and until year 8 that we finished with $42 million of profit, basically. This extra profitability, as mentioned, allowed us to compensate our shareholders and our investors for 6 years of sticking around with us and trusting us, that we were able to issue in year 7 21 million in dividends, and in year 8 basically around 33 million in dividends. And we were also able to buy back 10 million of our shares in year 7 in order to create more value for our shareholders. And yes, this improved financial performance helped the company from many aspects. As we can also see here in our stock market summary, we continuously, other than year 2, we continuously saw our share prices recovering at a slower rate from year 3 to year 4, basically. But we had a jump from year 5 onward, and in year 6 and year 7, we had the highest stock market price amongst our competitors in year 8 to finish 2nd. We were able to create 374 million in market cap.
So going back to our strategic position, in year 8 we made the decision to collude with Ferris in the low-end segment on price. This did not serve within our best interest, and it did not really correlate well with our strategy. So we learned our lesson, and moving forward we're going to take the ethical approach as we have done in previous rounds to guide our direction. We will also continue to win over our customers with a superior product, good financial management, and then also our team management decisions.
We also tended to behave better when we behaved ethically, so it's good for us.
So moving on to research and development, we've always tried to focus on having the best quality products. So from years 1 to 3, we tried to get as close to the ideal position as possible. What we did try was positioning our products within the middle of the year, so the products would be coming out within the middle of the year. That way we would have enough time for research and development, so our products were of good quality, and then enough time for product sales, so customers will actually be able to buy our product. We shifted from this approach in year 4 when we decided to just hit the ideal buying criteria for our customers, as opposed to trying to land our product within a certain time of the year. So we just focus on that ideal position. The exception would be the low-end segment, where we decided to leave it as is, as age is a more important factor. From year 6 onwards, we decided to exceed our customer ideal position, where we try to push certain product segments, so for example high, size, and performance, past that ideal position mark. We reverted back to just hitting the ideal position as customers were happy with either one.
They were indifferent to it when we made the product better, so we reverted back to having the ideal position because that is what they indeed preferred.
Exactly.
So in year 5, Chester was faced with the ethical decision about the Greening the Message campaign. And our marketing team presented us with a marketing campaign to make Chester more sustainable. But then later on we realized that our claims aren't 100% true. So
I introduced an idea where we would just discard the plan and we would go back to a version that would be true and would be ethical and would deliver on expectations to customers without deceiving them at any point. Since any other alternative would have caused friction between Calista and I, the heads, we decided to instead discard the old plans and proceed on a newer, better path.
Yeah, in the future, if we actually, because we do care about well-being of people around the world and also to have a friendly work environment, Chester will in future definitely launch a new environmentally friendly campaign. But when we do, we make sure we have everyone on board and everyone's voice is heard and valued, and also it is 100%, our claims are 100% true.
Yeah.
To our customers, yeah.
I actually decided to take on pricing and forecasting because I had a huge interest in it. So for pricing, as Vanessa mentioned, we decided to focus on acquiring market share. So we took a short-term strategy of reducing our price in the first few years. This didn't serve us because we realized that we were really reducing our capability to perform better.
And also our margins, because market share on its own is not
Thank you.
profitable.
Contribution margins were really bad. Not very bad, but they could have been better. So that is why we raised our prices to make our contribution margins better. And from that point, really, we started to see better returns. We started to deliver on customer expectations. We excelled here.
Because we realize customers are willing to pay for better products, and it's not that we have to also reduce the price if we have good quality products.
Exactly. So I then also focused on forecasting. So at the very beginning, we decided to go with a stable market share of about 22%, but that was way too generous. So we overproduced in the first year. Then to compensate for it, we reduced it, but we reduced it by too much, so we underproduced. So from that point on, we decided to take on a strategy that followed what we'd done previously. So we looked at our previous market share, and we looked at our hopeful market share, and we decided to take a midpoint in between. And from that point, we really started noticing some growth. A little bit of fine-tuning after looking at competitors and how they were pricing their products and how their customer surveys fared. From that point on, our forecasting team really got better, and we really started having forecasts where we had almost just-in-time inventory, and we didn't stock up much or we didn't overproduce.
Yeah, and that can be seen in the tables below.
And we also Capstone give us some principles regarding the effective marketing categories and the sales on each segment. So for example, print media is effective for the traditional segment, but email marketing is not in that way. So we just focus on what we give us the highest customer awareness, which is why we did not invest any money in the marketing that will yield the lower awareness. And those budget, on the other hand, has a positive relationship with the number of units that we are supposed to be sold. And this also have impact on the sales volume and profitability. During the first year, less than 58% of customers were aware of our 5 products, and less than 35% of customers had access to them. So this efficient investment was one of the reasons that we did not reach out our customer base and had too much inventory in the first year. There was also a significant need to invest in advertising and public relations campaign in order to guide higher awareness and ease accessibility, and particularly for the high-end performance and size product where the target customer has less price sensitive. And in the third year, we moved to diversifying budgets into a portion that in each medium to maximize customer awareness and accessibility, but without sacrificing our profits. So at the end of that year, in addition to the new product we just developed, our awareness was over 70%, and accessibility was over 90%. And in the financial department needed to get healthy ratios, we would reduce marketing expense properly. That's the main reason we did not max out our promotion budget for every product before the 6th year, because under that, we did not have enough cash to spend on it. So currently we at 95% awareness, since accessibility was easier to improve that awareness. Our product reached 100% by the 5th year. And we will continue to invest heavily in the following year to reach total market awareness and accessibility.
Now we have our Chief Operating Officer, Eunkyung Choi from the United States. She's going to join us on a video call to talk about our production procedures and also path forward for Chester.
For the first few years, we started with forecasting with general estimates. As we move forward, we look at each segment's growth rate for the following year and the market share potential based on the number of units we and our competitors sold. Also, we considered R&D and marketing departments forecasting numbers, as well as leaving an extra 150 units in inventory on hand as a buffer for stock out or in case we sold more than we predicted by deducting unsold inventory from the previous year. We improved our forecasting significantly over the years by looking over the numbers with each department's executive members. Capacity increase or decrease. In order to meet the increased market size per segment and our ability to meet that demand, we mainly considered cost effectiveness. The second shift employees were paid twice as much as the first shift employees, so by increasing capacity, we were able to reduce the labor cost. When we introduced a new product, we increased the capacity according to R&D while looking at patterns from competitors and estimating their movements. We decided to sell off our capacity when we had excessive loans and our credit rating was bad so that we could have some cash on hand. Also, we sold some of our segment's capacity if our market share was decreasing because it often led to higher inventory on hand and lower contribution margins. Automation level, we gradually increased each segment's automation level. So for traditional and low segments, it was 9 and 10 respectively, 6.0 for performance and size, and 5.5 for high. Increasing automation level was critical because it could help us reduce labor cost while increasing profitability. So we could buy out Digby. Digby's traditional product days has 14.3% of the market share. So in addition to our current market share in traditional segment, we could have the highest potential market share of 30.4%. Our product, Cedar, has the highest market share in the low-end segment, In order to move our products to a stronger position, we will continue to produce Digby's product Dell, which could potentially bring up our market share to 33% in total. We will keep one product in high-end performance and liquidate the size segment. In the high segment, we will keep Duck, so our total will be 22.9%. In the performance segment, with the addition of Doom, we can gain 29.1% of the market. Our size segment has the highest market share, so we can boost our production capacity by liquidating Dune and Dust. Another option is that we could buy out Baldwin. In the low-end segment, we will keep Baldwin's Baker to our low-end product offering, so we can have the highest market share in the segment, which is 30.3%. However, we will liquidate Bead and we use it to support Baker and our products. We will keep Baldwin's high-end segment product Bingo, but liquidate Banana, so we could potentially increase the market share to the highest, which is 24.6%. We will keep Baldwin's performance segment product Bold to manage production to gain larger market share of 28.9%, as well as size segment product Buddy, but liquidate Buzz. By keeping Buddy, we can increase production to get larger market share, which is 27.8%. The reason why we chose to buy out either Digby or Baldwin is that both companies have the lowest market valuation, so we can afford to buy them out, and both are not competitive within our industry. We would continue producing their company's good products to increase our overall market share. However, segments that we cannot use, we would sell them off and invest in our products so that we can increase our market share.
So our first choice would be Digby. We would like to keep traditional, low, high, and one performance. The benefits of keeping these would be the good quality of the products, so the performance and size metrics, which are better than all the competitors. We'd also gain production capacity. What we would need to implement going forward would be greater customer awareness. Our second choice would be purchasing Baldwin. We'd like to keep the low segment for the production capacity. We'd also like to keep one product in high performance and size, and that way we can stay competitive and gain some market share in a very highly fragmented market. We would need to definitely improve their quality in these products, so their size and performance metrics.
And from the financial aspect of it, it will make more sense for us to acquire Digby as the company is valued lower, the shares are worth less than Baldwin. It will be a cheaper acquisition for us, and it will be also beneficial, as Vanessa mentioned. But that we're also aware that Digby is an attractive choice for Ferris as well, and they might have more capital than we possess. If this results in a bidding war and prices increasing, we will then move to our second choice, Baldwin. Now both companies have a significant amount of assets. Baldwin, well, a lot more than Digby. For total assets, Baldwin has 223,203,000, and Digby has 178,842,000. Now, for the most part, we'll be factoring in their accounts receivable, taking on their cash, and liquidating the capacity parts that we're not using, and using that number to improve our own production capacity, automation, or invested in R&D. Now that concludes our presentation for today. We will take any questions that you might have through email, and thank you for listening.
This was the reason of friction at the beginning. So.
Sorry. I forgot to time it.
Oh, I put it on my watch.
I know you didn't time it at the beginning. I don't want to say anything.
Sorry. Let's go back. Is that? I think it was okay. Got it. We could do it just one more time.
I'm pretty sure the old one is good, right?
No, you weren't wearing your glasses and
Yes.
rolling up